What's going on YouTube? This is Reaper and I am back with another video. Alright, happy holidays everybody. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I hope everybody's going to have a happy New Year's. I know I certainly had a beautiful holiday weekend, and I had a beautiful holiday week despite all the, tractions and distractions that got in my way, but, I'm pretty good with that. Today I'm going to show you how I am now basically one step below 100, and trust me, I already hit that 100 mark earlier this evening, so I am a rank 100 Master Prestige. Trust me, my dear Christmas noobs, this is not a hard game to master. It is truly not. It is legitly a combination of Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 combined with a little bit touch of Black Ops 6. It is really not that hard to understand how to play. Now, I understand you noobs basically don't know how to use both sides of your body. That's totally okay, and that's completely understandable considering, the actual mechanics of AI and actual game developers have actually been basically holding your hand since 2019 in Call of Duty. I totally understand that. That's completely understandable. You Christmas noobs have not understood what it meant to really understand master pure accuracy and pure performance. So, because the computer has been doing that mostly for your body for the last 6 years, I'm going to give you kind of a rundown of how I did this in the span of just the opening season release. And I did rank 100 Master Prestige in less than the new year. So, congratulate me on that in the comment sections if you will, because that was actually a lot faster than Black Ops 6, believe it or not. So, last time it took me till April to get to this rank. So, the fact that I did it in a span of less than 2 weeks, come the F on, people. People, you gotta mature. You gotta get good. You actually gotta practice. You actually gotta want to be involved. You actually gotta want to be engaged. You can't be, you can't be lazy, and you honestly cannot sit back hoping the computer will do 90% of the accuracy for you. You gotta learn how to aim, gotta learn how to shoot, and you gotta learn how to kill people. That's basically how this game works, and it's how it's been working since the beginning of creation. So the fun factor about this little journey of mine to rank 100 was the fact that I got this the day before release. I beat the story game before worldwide release. I did most of the achievements in the week of release. So please do not call me a fanboy. Please do not call me, an actual, someone who's never touched grass. People, women are nothing but a distraction and a toxic poison to your humanity. Trust me when I say being single for 21 years and only focusing on video games is the prime way to go in life if you're a single male that just wants to enjoy life. And I am completely okay with that, because I do not need kids in my life to make me happy. I do not need marriage in my life to make me happy. All I need is 2 joysticks, a controller, and a screen. That's all I basically need. Now, I've been doing kind of a little bit of a charity work over the course of the last season. So, this season I actually gave, 2 gifts to 2 of my best friends in my entire life. And both of them enjoyed the gift immensely because they had never had something so high grade given to them before. That is actually kind of pure proof that most people live in poverty and live in absolute discretion of the real world, which is kind of really sad. But when you're someone like me that is upper middle class, that does have all these high-end toys, trust me, when you actually let other people enjoy those high-end toys and see how they like them for themselves, it is quite gratifying. So I got to admit that, giving back to my community this holiday season did make me feel a little bit more spirit power, a little bit more energy, and a little bit more satisfied. So thank you so much for actually, allowing myself to actually be functional enough to do that. But back to Call of Duty. So this year's Call of Duty has gotten a lot of hate for no depicable reason other than the SBMM BS and the actual, back-to-back Black Ops, creation titles. I have yet to hear any decent actual argument why this game is completely unplayable by by elites, other than that they just don't want to get stomped on 24/7. Well, I got news for you, goddamn Call of Duty elites. This is Call of Duty, my motherfucker. I'm being dead serious. This game is meant to be sweat. This game is meant to be competitive. This game is meant to actually make you want that dopamine. This game is not a kid plays toy. This game is not a Minecraft creation. This game is not for kids. This game is for adults that actually know how to use both left and right side of their brain function to motor skill their controller. And I got to admit that the fact that I was actually one of the first people on my friends list to reach this rank is actually quite telling. That means that a lot of my friends are either old, decrepit, or they're basically just too old to play competitive games now. And they just basically suck at progression, which is totally possible. I mean, most of my friends online actually have families, they have kids and stuff like that. So they are already past their prime. And most YouTubers are past their prime already. So you actually already see that in people like Drifter and people like, Actman and all that kind of fun jazz. But, like, it's rarely ever shown in actual gameplay. You don't actually see them miss. You don't actually see them actually do bad. But, I show everything that I do. I don't actually just show the good gameplay. I show the games that I go negative and I go positive if I feel that the footage is decent enough to show. So that's kind of how I do that. And on stream, you can see me, full cut and dry doing the gameplay all the time. So it's not that big of a deal. But, I just think it's kind of funny that a lot of people are hating on this game and they're just not learning how to play it, which is kind of sad, because that's the first thing that I did. I learned how to play it first, and then I learned to actually enjoy it. So it's just like, I actually had to learn the ropes on actually how to do the movement at the speed it required compared to the Black Ops 6, actual, last year's standard. So that was a little bit of a speed upgrade, but not by much, and that was actually kind of a good thing. But I got to admit that this game right here kind of shows proof that noobs do exist in these lobbies. They do. Oh, they do. But you gotta actually perform to the standard that allows you to play them. So that is the other key fun factor that you gotta learn by yourself. So if you gotta quit a couple games to get into a bad lobby, do it. I promise you, you'll feel a lot better after you actually succeed in actually getting into a noob lobby. But people are saying that all they see is Master Prestige when they go into lobbies, and I'm like, not me. I actually see low level characters every single time I go into lobbies right now. And it's because it is the Christmas season. But, I gotta admit, I haven't seen any level 1s yet. That's true. But I have seen level 14s, I've seen level 20s, I've seen level 50s, I've seen level 40s, I've seen level 30s. Trust me, I have seen other things other than Master Prestige ranks. So, they do exist. But you actually have to compare your gameplay to that standard, which is kind of the hard thing to do. But I gotta admit that people don't just want to start off sucking and then get better. It's just one of those things that people just don't really want to put the energy in doing. And I understand that, but to actually play the meta, you gotta actually act like the meta, which is kind of the important thing to remember. So you act like the meta will reward you with actual lower level lobbies, and you will actually have a funner time actually experiencing this game. But I got a lot of threads on my actual Instagram, and all these girls are saying, "Oh, I think I'm done with COD. I think this game just blows." And I'm like, no, it doesn't blow if I'm already rank level 100, motherfucker. I'm sorry, you just suck. That's kind of how that works. So I'm sorry, it's just like one of those things that when people legitly can't get good, they just automatically assume the game sucks. And I'm like, no, it's just because you're bad. That's just kind of how that works. And in reality, that's kind of the important thing to freaking remember. So, and especially women gamers too. So, women gamers have a lot harder time to do motor functions than men do. That's an actual biological fact. So, you should take that into consideration when you're seeing posts on Twitter or on Instagram or Threads, and just realize the person that's posting it, is it a girl or a guy? So it's just like, yeah, so if it's a girl, different standard, different biology, different chemistry, all that kind of fun jazz. But, my lesson stays the same. If you practice and get good, the game will feel a lot better. And I got to admit that this game has been a lot of fun this holiday season, and I've actually really enjoyed actually putting my grind into it. And to beat my Black Ops 6 meta, all I got to do is reach over 175. So I just got another 80 levels to go, and then I beat my Black Ops 6 record. There you go. And I might even do that by February. We will see. So, I might even do that in January, and we will actually have, a level 200 in February. We will see. But overall, this game was a noob fest, and we pumped these guys. These guys will absolutely blowed absolute trash. But it's just like you gotta actually put the work into gaming for gaming to reward you with skill. If you do not do that and you just use it as a pastime, I guarantee you'll get nowhere in games. That is a effing promise. And I've been playing games for over 30 years, people. Trust me, I know. See, I went 50 and 27. There you go. If I can do it, so can you. And here's my actual clip of the game. I go in, I basically just wipe all of them out, and boom, they're all dead. See, if I can do that spread, so can you. You probably don't have the motor function to actually activate it. That's completely okay. That's normal. But this is Reaper. I hope you all have a happy New Year's, happy 2026, and I'll see you in the new year. Later.